Hello friends! I recently came across an article from House Beautiful entitled, "Our Homes Aren't Weird Enough. Experts Reveal Why Playing It Safe is Killing Your Style." And I was immediately intrigued. If you are familiar with my videos, this probably doesn't come as a surprise to you because I'm a big advocate for taking risks, thinking outside the box, and creating interiors that are interesting and authentic rather than perfect. I do, of course, understand the instinct to play it safe. I, too, have to fight the urge myself sometimes. Taking design risks can be scary. We don't want to make mistakes and we don't want to have regrets. But I have also talked about how sometimes the things that initially feel like mistakes are actually really just opportunities that can lead us to better outcomes. The article theorizes that this lack of weird in our interiors also has to do with the rise of social media. Because of course it does. When does it not? As they point out, we have become so fixated on creating perfect, Instagram-worthy interiors that we've lost the motivation to create spaces for ourselves. Homes that reflect the tastes and personalities of the people that inhabit them. We become content to just copy the aesthetics that we see repeatedly online rather than take the time and the effort to develop our personal style. And it has led to a slew of cookie-cutter interiors that may look magazine-ready, but do very little to uplift or inspire or tell the story of the people who live there. And this really is to our own detriment. The article quotes designers Adele Nouri and Hugo Vince, who state, "Living in a space without surprise is like trapping yourself in a visual routine that dulls the imagination. Giving interiors that little spark of eccentricity fuels energy and creativity." And I completely agree. In creating this YouTube channel, one of my main goals has been to give people the tools and information to create homes for themselves that are personal and joyful and inspiring. So let's take a closer look at this article and have a conversation about how to make our homes a little weirder and a whole lot better. Break the rules. As the House Beautiful article states, if it feels a little off, you're probably onto something. Design rules can be useful guidelines to help us create functional and attractive spaces, but if we follow those rules too closely, they can also start to become a bit problematic. A home that follows all of the rules might be pretty, but it may also be lacking the kind of character and personality and depth that comes from breaking those rules every once in a while. We don't want to sacrifice the cool and the quirky for something so flawless it just ends up feeling superficial. So, what are some ways we can go about this rule breaking? Try playing with scale. Pieces that are exceptionally large or intentionally small can be a great way of adding interest to a bland space. Mix different styles. This is something I advocate for all the time. I love the visual tension created by combining different pieces in unexpected ways. Use mismatched patterns. Break the rules of pattern matching with unusual fabric and textile pairings. Add something ugly. I suppose this is a very literal interpretation of this idea of making our spaces weird. One statement piece that some may see as being ugly or kitschy or tacky might actually be just what you need to make your home feel a bit cooler and can be a great conversation starter. Cohesion doesn't have to mean uniformity. The article makes the point that everything having to match just kills creativity. An interior can still feel cohesive even when everything isn't perfectly coordinated. They suggest mixing woods for a layered feel or using a combination of materials like mirrors and plaster. I do really like the idea of mixing materials in new and unexpected ways. It can be a really great method for adding texture and depth to a room. The article also brings up the idea of experimenting with color combos traditionally seen as clashing, like purple and orange, for example. turn your challenges into opportunities. The House Beautiful article suggests that things like awkward layouts or small spaces are invitations rather than limitations. And I absolutely agree. The challenges that we face in our interiors force us to get creative, and that can lead to better results. When we have no limitations, it can actually be overwhelming. It becomes difficult to even know where to start. Sometimes it's the restrictions that help us find our sense of direction in our design choices. The article talks about turning an awkward corner into a banquette. Maybe it's trying to make good use of a long, narrow hallway. Or perhaps you have dated kitchen cabinets you aren't in a position to replace. Constraints can push you to get weird, resourceful, and deeply personal, and those results are often what make a space unforgettable. Stop overthinking. Now, this is advice that I could use in, lots of aspects of my life, and my approach to design is no exception. The analysis paralysis can be very real. The fear of making a mistake can really hold us back from making the bold choice and keep us stuck in this rut of always going with the safe option. I get it, it happens to me too, but safe is rarely interesting. Taking risks and not being afraid to experiment with our interiors is how we break away from the predictable. So let's all challenge ourselves to be a little bolder, a little more daring, and to have a little more fun with our spaces. Don't be afraid to get a little weird. Find your gateway product or room. Sometimes it is just a matter of finding that one weird piece or design element to get you inspired and really tap into your creativity. The article suggests this could be one accent wall in an unusual finish, or finding a great, maybe slightly weird area rug as a catalyst, and also mentions photos or other keepsakes to bring your personality to a room. They say to start somewhere small and maybe less intimidating, like a bathroom where you can close the door if you need to. Slow down. I did make an entire video about slow design, so you know that this is a suggestion I can definitely get behind. Taking your time and holding out for the right pieces is always going to lead to better results than rushing the process and settling for things you don't genuinely love. And remember that creating a home is an evolving process that's never really over. For most of us, our spaces are never truly done. Our needs change, our tastes change, and that often means changes to our interiors, whether it be big adjustments or small tweaks. So don't feel pressured to get everything complete and perfect right away. After all, perfection is boring. We want weird. Well, I think that pretty much sums up my takeaways from the article, but if you would like to read the complete House Beautiful article yourself, I will link it in the description. What do you think about this idea of making our homes more weird? I think in this scenario, the use of the term weird is probably mostly about getting people's attention. Sure, there's a certain aspect of this concept that is about doing things that are maybe a bit weird, but ultimately, I think the main idea here is to focus on making our homes our own. So to some people, this might mean choices that are a bit strange or unusual, but if they feel right to you and result in a home that feels like you, then maybe they aren't actually that weird at all. The key is to listen to your gut, do what makes you happy, and create a home that feels authentic to who you are. Thank you so much, my friends, for joining me in this conversation. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, do all those things us YouTubers are always asking you to do. I hope we see you at the next one, and bye for now.